presenter from my ministry, Mr. Gautam, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to be with you in this parallel session on energy, where we focus on power generation for economic transformation. The title for this session has been coined by the organizers for two reasons. First, the present government's campaign for prosperous Nepal and happy Nepali cannot be realized without complete economic transformation of the country. Second, such transformation can only happen when adequate energy or power is generated to drive the economy. In other words, energy or power generation has to be a major driver for Nepal's economic transformation. Demand for energy is increasing globally. Despite efforts to develop clean sources of energy, fossil fuel is still a dominant source of energy. In this region, large numbers of people are yet to have access to electricity. If properly harnessed, Nepal's potential for hydropower development can make a difference in correcting the energy supply situation in the region. As Mr. Gautam mentioned in his presentation, my ministry has set ambitious targets in the power sector for the next 10 years. In the next 5 years, we intend to provide access to 100% of the population through a mix of grid and off-grid systems. In the meantime, we are implementing several transmission and distribution system reinforcement projects to be able to provide reliable electricity services to the people. In the next 10 years, we are planning to have about 10,000 megawatt generation capacity for domestic consumption alone, with another 5,000 megawatts for cross-border trading. These targets can only be met with the involvement of and investments from the private sector. A good part of that is expected to be of foreign origin. We are well aware of the risks perceived and problems faced by different players in the sector. We have been devising various mechanisms to manage those risks and ease the problems from time to time. I must tell you that we are keen on promoting the public-private partnership model in various forms. To this front, we have already announced a program called People's Hydropower Program to develop significant number of projects with a modality that ensures intense public participation. Through this process, we are able to pool together scattered resources for the equity financing, which is otherwise difficult to arrange. Over the past couple of years, we have accelerated the pace of reforms in the sector, even though it has been challenging to unbundle the sole public utility in the sector.
However, I wish to highlight some of the important points that will set the context of our deliberations. It is often said that this is an era of Asian century. With the unprecedented economic dynamism, global development landscape is being changed and the locus of global geoeconomics is being shifted towards Asia. Our neighbors, China and India, have already emerged as a global economic powerhouse. Nepal's strategic location is suitable to unleash immense investment and business opportunities in Nepal. As a stable government and consistency of policies are critically important to create a conducive environment for investment, Nepal stands to meet both of these vital elements. Following the promulgation of a new constitution and the conclusion of local, provincial, and federal elections, the long-awaited political stability has been achieved in the country with a strong federal government of two-thirds majority. Political stability, in fact, brings in policy continuity and consistency. Favorable political milieu equally entails a conducive atmosphere for undertaking much needed socio-economic transformation in the country. In line with this vision, the present government has set its utmost priority to realize the motto of Prosperous Nepal, Happy Nepali. It essentially means leaving not a single Nepali behind and making the entire country rich. In that sense, political stability and economic prosperity complement each other in a virtuous cycle. Our vision of socio-economic transformation embraces the targets to graduate from least developed status at an early date, to become a middle-income country and achieve sustainable development goals by 2030. These targets are being taken up by the upcoming 5-year plan. The plan also aims to attain double-digit growth to meet these targets. Mobilization of domestic finance alone will not be adequate to achieve these ambitious development goals. Foreign direct investment is, therefore, essential to meet our resource requirements. Over the last 3 decades or so, the country has been pursuing liberal economic policies and a competitive market regime. The new constitution has categorically espoused this spirit with the provision of welcoming foreign capital and technological investment in priority sectors. Almost all sectors have been open for foreign investment, and the sensitive list for investment is kept very short. Hydropower, agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, ICTs, mines and minerals are some of the promising sectors for the investment in Nepal. The labor cost in Nepal is competitive and low. Qualified and skilled workforce is available to the reasonable cost. With a view of creating an enabling environment for domestic and foreign investors in line with the constitutional spirit, the present government has undertaken a number of policy, legal, institutional, and procedural reforms. On the policy and legal front, many new laws have been made consistent with the new constitution. Recently, the 2 key legislations, namely Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Act, FITA, and the Public-Private Partnership and Investment Board Act, PPPIBA, have been enacted. The FITA ensures national treatment for any foreign investment, and a repatriation of return has been guaranteed. The introduction of automatic road system will facilitate foreign investment related procedures in a simple and practicable manner. The PPIBA provides one-stop service for foreign investment exceeding 6 billion rupees or a hydro project over 200 million megawatt capacity. Governance and rule of laws play an important role in creating environment for making investment and doing business in the country. Needless to say, good governance is a sine qua non for the expansion of economic activities as well as for the attainment of economic prosperity. We have accelerated our crusade against corruption with absolute zero tolerance policy on it. The introduction of social security system for workers will promote congenial industrial relations and thereby contribute to conducive investment climate. Nepal offers an attractive tax and export incentive structure to investors. Procedures for land acquisition, company registration, environmental assessment, and infrastructure development have been simplified. Online registration and payment system has been put in place. Connectivity remains critical in making investment decisions and also for smooth business operations. Reliable infrastructure network reduces the cost of doing business. It is the policy of government to build critical infrastructure. Electricity supply for industries has been made almost 24 hours and 7 days. Major power projects are on the verge of completion. We will soon become power surplus country. Road networks within and across the border have witnessed much progress. Construction of Kathmandu-Tarai fast track is moving ahead. On SAGE is in operation and some other are in pipeline. Digital connectivity also remains under our priority and is under expansion. Sound management of macroeconomic fundamentals have made investment in Nepal risk-free. Conclusion of BIPA with friendly countries ensures protection of investment and that of avoidance of double taxation provides investment incentives. The upcoming policy and legal reform in intellectual property sector will offer more benefits under various multilateral instruments. We understand that reform is a continuous process. We are committed to it. We will do it with the private sector on board. We will undertake necessary measures to sustain an investment and business-friendly atmosphere in the country. As I said earlier, Nepal is located between the world's two largest markets, India and China. Nepal enjoys preferential market access to both with duty-free export facilities for most of its products. Nepal, as an least developed country, enjoys similar preferential arrangements with many developed countries, including EU and USA. Some developing countries have also offered duty-free, quota-free facilities. With rising middle-class population, even the domestic market is expanding. More prospective investors in Nepal market will not be the problem. Connectivity tops the agenda in our engagements with neighbors. Port facilities in India have improved. New transit route through inland waterways is being developed. Transit procedures are being simplified through the use of modern technology. Transport transit arrangement with China will provide us another transit corridor for international trade. The prospect of regional electricity market is growing. Policy and regulatory framework for power trade is being developed. Cross-border transmission lines are being constructed. The conclusion of MOU on BIMSTEC grid interconnection has enlarged the prospect of regional power trade. The MOU on power trade between Nepal and Bangladesh has further expanded the power market. I am glad to share with you that Nepal is a resource-rich country with abundant water resources, population dividend, biodiversity, and wonderful landscapes together with trainable workforce and hospitable people. It is a virgin land for a lucrative investment. Business profile of multinationals operating in Nepal reveals that none of them have gone bankrupt.
There is space for practically every sectors, including the private sector, non-government organizations, domestic capital, foreign capital, non-governmental organizations, cooperatives and everything. Because nation building is a big operation, big challenge, which requires the mobilization of energy and resources from all sectors. So that was the beginning of the liberalization process in Nepal, which coincided with political liberalization, because Nepal adopted liberal political system from the early 90s after a big political change from absolute monarchy to multi-party system. The economic liberalization also followed political liberalization in Nepal. A host of reforms were introduced and private sector investment, including foreign investment, was made open, even in those sectors which were treated as commanding heights, off limits to the private sector, including energy production and a civil aviation sector, telecommunication sector, which were treated as off limits to the private sector. They were considered commanding heights of the economy, natural monopolies for the state sector. This was all waived. So the whole sectors were made open to the private investment, including foreign investment. With the introduction of these changes, there was positive impact on the economy in terms of growth rate, in terms of, at the same time, expansion of industrial sector, expansion of our export sector, and all that. But there was a setback after the onset of a turbulent politics As previous speakers also mentioned, Nepal passed through a very, very difficult period, very turbulent period for almost 2 decades, from later part of the 90s to until 2015, until the promulgation of the new constitution. The period was marked by decade-long insurgency, unstable politics, palace massacre, royal takeover of power, peace process, and the prolonged transition even after the peace process, and the last severe incident, the massive earthquake which took place in the year 2015, April. So these are very difficult times. You must be aware of the resilience of Nepal's economy. Despite these unfavorable conditions, turbulent politics, natural disasters, unstable politics, now all that, Nepal made significant progress in the social sector, in poverty alleviation, although the growth rate slowed down after during the turbulent period for almost 2 decades, from 2001 to 2015. We made very impressive achievement in the social sector. As just before, Vice President of the World Bank, who is very much familiar with what is happening in Nepal, I am happy that, ADB and World Bank has been represented by Deputy President, Vice Presidents in this meeting, who have been our long-time development partners, contributing much in the process of our economic development. Nepal's achievement in human development, it is one of the best in the developing world. As you may be aware, the Human Development Report of the year 2010 says Nepal is one of the top 10 performers globally and one of the top 3 performers in the Asian region in terms of human development. Despite low economic growth, Nepal makes a unique case where the growth rate was low, but the progress in human development in the education sector, in the health sector, and in other, and rural development, it made a and poverty alleviation, it made a very impressive progress. Like people below poverty line declined in early 90s from about 50% of the total population now to less than 15% based on headcount survey. The access to economic services, in terms of access to road, in terms of access to telecommunication services, banking services, and so many other socio-economic services, Nepal has made one of the most impressive progress. And the World Economic Forum, its index on inclusive development, ranks Nepal in 22nd position among 77 countries. That is why the World Bank report of 2017, I think, says Nepal is a leader in poverty alleviation, although laggard in growth. We are behind other South Asian countries in growth. But in terms of our progress in poverty alleviation, they say we are the leader. So this shows the resilience, the capacity of the Nepal's economy, because there was significant public expenditure restructuring in favor of the social sector, in favor of rural infrastructure. At the same time, this was also contributed by the large number of Nepalese going abroad and sending their remittance income in the country. That also helped in ameliorating, in reducing the poverty part. But now the challenge is, now we have a new constitution. The election is also over. There is a new government. Now it is time to focus on economic growth through higher investment. We spent much time, we wasted much time in political controversies. So now it is time to focus all the national energy, giving focus to economic growth, economic development, by inviting more investment. Domestic investment is not sufficient to accelerate growth. So we need external investment also. Public investment as well as private investment must be raised by putting a cap on recurrent cost. The public investment, government investment, should be focused on infrastructure creation, particularly in raising the quality of Nepal's infrastructure. Although road expansion has increased from about 7,000 kilometers in 1990 to now 88,000 kilometers now, but most of them are at local level, fair weather, very vulnerable. So the priority should be in upgrading the transport sector, which is vital to economic development. So the government focus should be going there, raising the quality of investment in the public sector.
I stand before you with a deep sense of honor, privilege, and humbleness to express and extend a vote of thanks at the inaugural session of this Nepal Investment Summit 2019. I believe the synergy of ideas and keen interest of delegates present here in this summit in exploring business opportunity will shape the future of Nepal. The event is marked as an important platform for Nepal to create a shared future for economic prosperity and establish Nepal as a global business partner. Amongst us, we have delegates of around 735 people as a foreign delegates from 39 countries at this event, representing almost 300 companies from the globe, with an objective of joining hands with Nepal on its journey towards its development and economic growth. At this occasion, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Right Honorable Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oliju, our distinguished chief guest for this morning, for delivering a truly inspiring and memorable special address. Your vision, your guidance, and leadership surely has inspired us to stride towards a positive and prosperous path. Your gracious presence at this event reaffirms your commitment towards welcoming global investment into the nation. I would also like to extend my humble gratitude towards the Honorable Finance Minister, Dr. Yuvraj Khatioda, for being the driving force behind organizing this event. Your commitment, your persistent effort, and determination have culminated this successfully organizing this incomparable investment platform for Nepal. On this occasion, on this momentous occasion, it is indeed our privilege to have the gracious presence of Honorable Minister, His Excellency Yu Tongton, Union Minister for Investment and Foreign Economic Relations, Myanmar. Your presence here is an important step and a testimony to your commitment to have partnership with Nepal for a shared economic prosperity and to propel Nepal's economic transformation. I'd also like to thank Dr. Ram Saran Mahat, former Finance Minister and member of Central Committee of Nepali Congress, Mr. Hard, Vice President of the World Bank Group, Mr. Chen, Vice President of Asian Development Bank, Mr. Sajad Nassim, President from Menhard Group, Mr. Muthut, Chairman from the Muthut Group, for accepting our invitation. We are enlightened by your thoughtful address and delighted to see your participation in this summit, sir. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to the line ministries and agencies and respective honorable minister, as well as the member of the steering committee, project committee, for their active participation in making Nepal Investment Summit 2019 a successful event. This event would not be possible without the active roles of the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, and Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation. And I have been fortunate to work with a team of well-motivated and dedicated colleagues. I would like to thank all the members of the working committee and my staffs and colleagues at the Office of Investment Board, Nepal, for their tireless efforts. I would like to express my gratitude to all excellencies and representatives of diplomatic mission for their presence. Your continuous support and communication will be critical in advancing Nepal's status as a favorable investment destination in the coming years. I would like to acknowledge the roles of all session chair, moderators, and panelists. We would like to thank you for your valuable and resourceful contribution. The outcome of the session will surely support to accelerate various investment sector policy reforms as well as the required efforts to make Nepal an attractive investment destination. I am grateful for the support of FNCCI, CNI, and NCC in helping us put together this summit. I thank representatives from the media for their comprehensive coverage of the event, including media partner. Furthermore, I thank Hotel Solti for providing us with the splendid venue and our event management company, the Imagine. I would also like to thank security personnel and volunteers. I would like to express a deep gratitude to all international delegates, NRN delegates, business representatives, and domestic participants for participating in the event. All the inputs and deliberation aired and discussed in these 2 days will shape the future of Nepal. We hope this event provides you the platform to network, seek out new business partnership and opportunities, and share your comments and concerns. Your open and honest feedback is crucial to ensure the success of this summit and beyond. Finally, I am confident that this is an exciting time to turn Nepal's potential into real progress. Nepal reassures to provide you with the necessary measure to turn your investment into real returns. We welcome you to partner with Nepal for its prosperity and to sharing its prosperity. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.